In the middle of the sand dunes of Rajasthan's desert, there was a small mud house. In that house lived a 70-year-old old man, all alone. Even tonight the old man was in deep sleep. The night was silent. It had grown very late. Suddenly there was a knock at the door. The old man woke up with a start. His eyes opened wide. He said to himself, "Who could come to my house at this hour? In this lonely place, no one has ever come before." But then the knocking grew louder. The old man got up from his bed, walked slowly toward the door, and when he opened it, he was shocked by what he saw. In front of him stood a young, beautiful woman. Her name was Seema. The moment the old man saw Seema, a strange attraction arose within him. He just kept staring at her, unable to take his eyes away. The old man asked, "Who are you? And what are you doing in this deserted place?" Seema replied, "I was going to Ajmer, but I lost my way. Please let me stay in your house for one night. I'll leave in the morning." The old man was enchanted by Seema's beauty. He said, "Come inside." Seema stepped into the house. The old man showed her a corner and said, "Lie down there and get some rest." Seema lay down and soon fell asleep, but late in the night she suddenly felt as if someone was standing near her. Slowly she opened her eyes and saw the old man standing right there. He was staring at her with strange eyes. Seema sat up in fear and said, "What happened? What are you doing here?" The old man said, "Nothing. I just came to cover you with a blanket so you don't feel cold." Seema angrily took the blanket, covered herself, and lay back down. But even after Seema fell asleep, the old man stood there watching her. There was a strange desire in his eyes. He couldn't stop staring at Seema. Morning came. Seema thanked him and got ready to leave. Just then the old man said, "Where will you go? You're a young woman, and Ajmer is far from here." The old man came closer, held Seema's hand, and said, "Stay here tonight. It's just one more night." Seema pulled her hand away angrily and said, "What do you mean?" The old man replied, "Then at least let me arrange your journey for tomorrow." His eyes still held that strange look, as if some hidden thought was running in his mind. Seema hesitated but agreed to stay for one more night. The old man kept staring at her as if wishing she would come to him. Night fell. Seema lay down in her corner. The old man lay on his own bed. When the last part of the night arrived, the surroundings were silent. The old man quietly got up, walked slowly toward Seema, and stood beside her for a long time just watching. Then he sat down next to her and gently began to stroke her hair. Suddenly, Seema's eyes opened. She sat up in fear. "What happened? What are you doing here?" she said angrily. The old man looked into her eyes as if lost in some dream and said, "I came to give you a pillow. You're sleeping without one. Your neck will start hurting. Here, take this pillow." Seema took the pillow in anger, turned her face away and said, "Go away from here." The old man went back to his bed and lay down. He started talking to himself in the dark. "In the morning, Seema will leave," he murmured. "Tonight was my last chance." Still, he had lost her. "No, I won't let her go like this," he thought. "I must come up with some plan. Tomorrow, I have to find some way to keep her here." Lost in those thoughts, the old man finally fell asleep. Morning came. Seema woke up and went to the old man. She said, "If you've arranged for my travel, then I should leave now. Tell me, what arrangements have you made?" The old man looked at her with eyes filled with affection for a while, then slowly said, "No, you can't leave here today." Hearing this, Seema stared at him in surprise. She asked, "Why? Why can't I go?" The old man said, "You'll have to stay one more night." Seema looked at him in shock and said, "Why? Is there some problem?" "Everything seems fine. Why should I stay?" The old man spoke softly. "There's no travel arrangement available right now. But I heard that tomorrow a caravan will pass through here, heading toward Eimer." When Seema heard about the caravan, she felt a little relieved. She thought, "All right then, I'll leave with the caravan tomorrow. I'll spend tonight here." Hearing that, the old man became very happy inside. He whispered to himself, "Another night. I've got one more night." All day long the old man sat at a distance, silently watching Seema. His eyes had grown even deeper, filled with strange emotions. Night began to fall. Seema lay down on her bed. The old man also lay on his own bed, but his mind was restless. Even though he was lying down, his eyes were not looking at the ceiling. They were turned toward Seema's bed in the corner. His breathing grew faster. His heart started pounding wildly. Slowly he got up from his bed, walked quietly toward Seema, and stood there looking at her from head to toe. Then he sat down beside her and gently began to touch her hair. Suddenly, Seema shivered slightly. The old man got scared, afraid that she might wake up. In panic, he quickly returned to his bed, laying down as if nothing had happened. But from that moment, the old man had already crossed a line in his mind. He kept watching Seema's face for a long time. Now in his eyes, there wasn't just desire. There was also an old buried hunger awakening. Just then, suddenly Seema's eyes opened. She screamed out loud, but the old man rushed to her and covered her mouth tightly so no sound could escape. Then, in a hurry, he went back to his bed and lay down, pretending as if nothing had happened. All night long, Seema kept thinking, why did that old man come near me? What was he trying to do? His intentions didn't seem good at all. She trembled with fear, but after a long time, she finally fell asleep. In the morning, Seema got up and went to the old man. She asked, "Has the caravan arrived? Please let me go now." The old man looked into her eyes for a moment and said, "The caravan hasn't come yet," Seema said in surprise. "But you said it would arrive today." The old man answered in a tired voice, "Yes, maybe it'll come before evening." Seema said, "I can't stay here any longer." The old man just nodded silently. He was sitting in the courtyard now, watching Seema from a distance with the same strange, unsettling eyes. Seema thought to herself, "His gaze feels wrong. I need to get out of here quickly. I'm a young woman, and who knows what's going on in his mind." She remembered, "Last night he came near me, tried to touch me. No matter what, I can't spend another night here." She decided, "Whether the caravan comes or not this evening, I'm leaving." The old man was still staring from a distance, just like a hunter watching his prey. As evening approached, Seema was about to go to him, but before she could, the old man himself came to her. He said, "Look, it seems the caravan will only arrive by morning. I thought I should let you know myself. They carry a lot of goods, so they travel slowly. Stay just one more night." Seema became angry and quickly said, "I can't stay any longer. Whether the caravan comes or not, I'm leaving right now. My patience has run out." The old man stepped a little closer and said, "If you delay just a bit more, it'll be dark. You're a young woman. Where will you go in this desert at night? There are wild animals wandering around. What if something happens to you?" When he said that, his voice carried more cunning than concern. Seema was now completely sure that this was another trap. Still, she said, "All right, I'll stay. But this is the last night. Tomorrow morning, whether the caravan comes or not, I'm leaving." The old man smiled and said, "All right." But behind that smile lay a strange mystery. Night had fallen. Seema was now fully alert. She lay down in a corner, but her eyes remained open, filled with fear and suspicion. She whispered to herself, "I just hope this night passes quickly." Then she closed her eyes and lay there as if she'd fallen asleep. The old man lay on his bed, but one of his eyes stayed open. He kept glancing toward Seema, trying to see if she was truly asleep. When it seemed she wasn't moving at all, he slowly got up and walked toward her. He stood quietly beside her for a long time, just staring at her. Then he sat down near her feet and began to gently rub them. At that very moment, Seema's ear twitched slightly. The old man realized it instantly and quickly moved back. Then he placed his hand on her forehead, stroking it softly. Suddenly, Seema opened her eyes. She turned her face away without saying a word, but the way her body moved made it clear she was awake. The old man silently got up and went back to his bed. His heartbeat was fast, filled with unease, but there was no regret on his face. Morning came. Seema got up and went straight to the old man. In a sharp voice she asked, "So, has your caravan arrived? Or do you have another new excuse?" The old man stayed silent for a while, then said, "The caravan hasn't come." Seema grew furious. "I knew it. No caravan was ever coming. You've kept me here for some other reason. I understand everything now. I won't stay here another minute. I'm leaving." When she tried to leave the hut, suddenly the old man stood in front of her, blocking her path. He said, "You can't leave from here." Seema said, "Get out of my way or I'll scream as loud as I can." The old man replied calmly, "No one will hear your voice here." Seema shouted in anger, "What do you want? Why are you stopping me? You're old enough to be my father. Don't you feel any shame?" The old man in a serious tone said, "It's not what you think. The one you're going to Ajmer to find. Maybe he's right here somewhere nearby." Seema said, "I don't want to stay here for even a moment more. And how do you even know that I'm going to Ajmer to find someone?" The old man replied, "That I can't tell you just yet." The old man said, "But if you stay here tonight, it will be better for you." Seema was surprised. She thought to herself, "Again the same trick. Why is he trying to stop me again and again? What is his real problem after all?" The old man said, "I told you, didn't I? If you stay one more night, then tomorrow morning you'll get all the answers to your questions, and maybe you won't even need to go to Ajmer." Seema was now completely confused. She looked inside herself in astonishment. How did he know that? What am I searching for? And what problem do I even have? A storm of questions rose in Seema's mind, but now she had absolutely no trust in the old man. She pushed the old man aside and walked out of the hut. The old man ran after her, calling out, "Stop! If you go away, everything will be ruined." After walking a long distance, Seema grew tired and sat down in one place. She was out of breath, but her mind was still filled with fear and restlessness. Suddenly, from behind, the same old man came running toward her, panting heavily. His breath was intense, but his voice still carried mystery. In a slow but firm tone, the old man said, "I'm telling you for the last time. Go back to that house. Then maybe you won't need to go to Ajmer." Seema, though exhausted, asked in a stern voice, "If there's something, then why don't you tell me clearly?" The old man took a deep breath and said, "I can't tell you that right now. If I say it now, everything will be destroyed. But I can tell you one thing. You're searching for your husband." Seema was completely stunned after hearing this. Her breath stopped for a moment. "Yes, I'm looking for my husband. He has been missing for a long time. I've searched in many places, and now I'm heading toward Ajmer." "But how did you come to know all this?" she asked in shock. The old man, in a very serious tone, said, "I know everything. But you must spend one night with me. Only then will I be able to answer all your questions." Hearing this strange condition, Seema almost stumbled in shock. Fear, suspicion, and confusion filled her eyes as she stared at the old man. "Is this another new trap? What does he want to do with me tonight? Seema thought to herself. The old man stood right there, very, very serious and still. His eyes were still fixed on Seema. After thinking for a while, Seema said, "All right, I'll stay. One more night. Here." Hearing that, a faint smile appeared on the old man's face. A sparkle lit up in his eyes, as if his goal was finally within reach. "All right," he said. Seema and the old man began walking back toward the house. Seema was walking ahead, and the old man was following behind her. But this time his steps were not hurried like before. There was a strange calmness in them. The old enthusiasm still lingered in his eyes. He thought to himself, "This night has come after so much struggle, and I will not let this night slip away, no matter what she lay on her bed, but her eyes were open." She stayed awake, whispering to herself, every word making her more cautious. The old man sat on his bed, staring at Seema. When the end of the night approached and it seemed Seema's eyes were finally closing, he quietly rose and moved to sit beside her. He looked at Seema with eyes full of affection. Then, taking her hand, he drew her toward his chest. Seema suddenly pulled her hand away and angrily turned her face aside. The old man silently rose and lay down on his bed. There was no remorse in his eyes, only a waiting, as if the end he sought was very near. At dawn, the first sunlight fell on the hut's packed earth floor. Light crept along the wall and into the room. Seema had woken earlier. There was no sleep on her face, only worry and fear were clearly visible. This time she decided, without asking the old man any questions, to get up and leave. The moment she tried to step outside the hut, her eyes fell upon someone sitting in a corner. There sat a young man, handsome, bright-faced, neatly dressed, but his face was turned away. Seema was astonished. She went to him and asked, "Who are you?" The young man slowly turned his face toward her. When Seema saw him, she froze as if the ground beneath her had vanished. She cried out loudly, "This is my husband, Nitin!" She ran and flung herself around the young man's neck, her eyes filling with tears. This moment felt like magic to her. Seema asked, "How did you come here?" "Am I dreaming?" Nitin held her close and said softly, "No, this is not a dream. This is real. I have returned." Seema's joy knew no bounds. The one she had searched for year after year now stood before her. Seema, stunned, asked Nitin, "But where were you? How did you come to this old man's house? I do not like that man at all. Do you know him?" Nitin looked into her eyes. This time his gaze held not mystery, but relief from suffering. He said, "First call that old man. See where he is." Seema searched every corner of the hut, but the old man was nowhere to be seen. She returned and said, "He is not anywhere. It seems as if he vanished. Where did he go?" Nitin took a deep breath and said, "Where he went, you must figure that out yourself. But before that, do you want to know where I was all these years?" Seema quickly said, "Yes, tell me, where were you?" Now the greatest mystery of the story was about to be revealed. Nitin began. "One day as I left my house and was heading to the market, I saw an old man and a young woman together. The old man looked like some kind of saint, and the girl was very beautiful. I made a jest with them and said to the girl, 'Why are you with this old man? You should be with a young man.' Perhaps the girl knew something. There was a mysterious power about her. She looked at me, uttered some words, and suddenly blew upon me. In an instant, I became like that old man. My appearance completely changed to match his. Then he said, 'This is your punishment. From now on, it will remain this way for the rest of my life.'" Seema listened with stunned eyes, her breath stopping for a moment. Nitin stepped forward and said, If, someday, the people who truly love you come searching for you in this lonely place, and they spend time with you, even without knowing your true identity, then you will be able to return to your real form. And yes, there was another condition. I could not reveal my own identity myself. Seema, trembling, said, Then, were you that old man? Nitin nodded and said, Yes, I was that old man. Hearing Nitin's words, Seema froze completely. Tears streamed from her eyes as she ran and threw herself around Nitin's neck, crying, Forgive me. I didn't recognize you. Nitin gently placed his hand on her head and said softly, It's not your fault. You didn't know I was your husband. Your heart was pure. Your intentions were sincere, and the truth has broken my curse. Seema was crying, but now her tears held not fear, but peace and strength born of faith. A new chapter began in their lives. At that moment, Seema realized that after all the fear, pain, and mystery, only one truth remained. Her husband Nitin had returned. Now they both began a new life again. But this time there was no mystery between them, no distance, only trust, and a bond far stronger than any punishment could ever be. If love is true, it crosses every trial, every moment, and every distance to return again. If someone deceives in love, it becomes a punishment. But with patience, faithfulness, and sincerity, that same love one day becomes a reward. No matter what a person's outer appearance may be, their true identity comes from the honesty of their heart and the purity of their intentions. Dear viewers, this was today's story. We'll meet again with a new one. Thank you.